Hey listeners, I'm Karen Riley Jeffers, NCSM's Eastern 2 Director. Welcome to our series, Learning with Leaders, Everyone Belongs in Mathematics. Thank you for joining me and my co-host Abel Maestas, the host of Teaching That Counts, as we talk with both leaders and influencers about their math journeys and contributions. Today, we will hear from our special guests about their inspiration, perceptions, and insights regarding instructional decisions that make the mathematics space welcoming and engaging to all. Listen and learn about how beliefs, practices, and policies must continue to advance to ensure that each and every person feels a sense of belonging in mathematics.
All right, welcome everybody to this month's episode of NCSM Learning with Leaders podcast. So excited to have everybody with us today. And we've got, what did you call this, Karen? A special programming today, special podcasts. So we're pretty excited about today. So again, like always, I'm Abel Maestas, and I'm joined by
Karen Riley Jeffers.
And this is the NCSM Learning with Leaders podcast. So we're pretty excited, and we'd like to welcome this month's guests, and it's a plural. So we've got multiple guests on today for this podcast, and we're going to be discussing something very exciting that's coming up in just a few months, and that is the NCSM conference that's coming up in Denver. I'm so excited about it. I know, woo! And we get to do some live podcasting there. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've got some cool things. So here they are, the members of the NCSM Conference Program Committee, to share with us in this podcast some of the exciting things that we can see when we get to Denver, and how that's connecting to our theme of belonging. So we're pretty excited to have it. I'm going to have just a moment here to have all of them introduce themselves so that you can get familiar with their voices since you're listening to this podcast as we go forward. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I am Marty Cardenas. I get the opportunity to serve as the first vice president of NCSM, which is basically the program chair for the upcoming conference in Denver. My day job is director of teaching and learning in a district right outside of Dallas, Texas. And yeah, pass it over to Jennifer.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Davis, and my role on the board is as the conference committee coordinator. I am the elementary math coordinator in a public school district in North Texas.
And hi, everybody. I'm Crystal Lancour. My role on the NCSM board and the conference committee is the second vice president. I basically support volunteering and leadership connections for the conference. And in my daily role, I am the math supervisor for my local district in Delaware, in the Colonial School District. And I also teach on the side at the University of Delaware.
Great.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mess this up? But because I'm also the executive director of our local organization, but I shouldn't have said that. Should I? Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay. Executive director, you gotta be proud of that role too, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna be shocked if Crystal, you said you were from Texas as well, because that was not wait, everybody's from Texas. Funny. Yeah, maybe I should be in Texas right now, Karen.
Right.
Right.
So thank you again for being with us today. Before we begin, and even though you just introduced yourselves, but if each of you would share some of your journey in education and how it has led you to NCSM.
So it started in college. I started as an engineer major, and I really enjoyed math, and a lot of my friends knew I enjoyed math. So they asked for tutoring, and so I just loved that aspect of helping people understand math. It brought a lot of joy to me, and so that's when I changed my major to a math educator. And I started out in teaching high school math, and then I really enjoyed that. And I had some opportunities to advance in some supporting teachers and some leadership roles, which led me to instructional coaching type role and my math supervisor and now the director. And and NCSM just has been an incredible professional home because it brings together educators who are just passionate about math and supporting teachers and supporting students. So serving as a program chair, it's given me opportunity to create learning experience that inspire mathematic leaders from across the country.
Jennifer?
Okay. So I always knew I was going to be a teacher. That was never a question in my mind. The fact that I am in the math world still shocks my family, and they shake their heads because I was not a strong math student in my kindergarten through 12th grade life. It wasn't until my first college math methods class where my mind was blown about what regrouping actually means. And I finally realized, this actually makes sense. And that was the first time I even thought about math in a positive way. I had opportunity as a classroom teacher to work with an amazing math specialist at our campus who worked with me, coached me, provided a lot of feedback, and did a lot of co-teaching with me and helped me see how math could actually be fun and creative. And this was all new to me. I was more of like reading and science kind of person, not as much, didn't see math as being fun. She eventually became a math curriculum coordinator and brought me to my very first NCSM conference, and my mind was just blown. And I have just been a supporter of the organization in the belief of growing others and growing math leaders in all sorts of roles ever since then.
That's amazing. I love this journey of like not feeling like that confident mathematician, and now it's like a leader of mathematics, which I feel like with our students who have those same challenges, like there's an angle that you've experienced that you can share with our youngest learners and with teachers that are having that challenge as well. I hope that.
Absolutely.
Priscilla?
Thank you. So I started as a middle school math teacher many years ago. And then from the classroom, I transitioned directly to the Department of Education, leading math initiatives in our state. And this is the role where I got my first experience at NCSM, and I was totally hooked. I want to say that was like maybe 2009 in DC, if I'm remembering that correctly. I loved every minute of it. And now in my math supervisor role in my district, I've presented many times over the years with colleagues, which kind of led me to want to be a part of this amazing board. I was able to volunteer many times over the years and kind of got a glimpse of all the work it takes in the background, and kind of seeing like the dozens of people who make this amazing event happen every year. It was just so powerful to see all the work that it takes to making the participants experience the best conference possible. So I was definitely hooked and wanted to find my way to this organization in a leadership role in some way.
Awesome. I love that we have somebody from each level here. We've got high school, middle school, and elementary school.
Mhm.
And yeah, I love the ability to have all three pieces there. So we get a real, TK 12. I don't know if they call it TK in Texas or except
Pre-K.
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 Pre-K. So all the way up to 12th grade. So I just love that. And Jennifer, your story about learning a process. I think my wife learned for the first time. This is going to be her third year teaching. She spent most of her time with our kids as they were growing up, and then she decided to go into the classroom, and she learned how to why we divide, why long division works, and it was like her mind was blown.
Yes.
And so I've been in education, teaching math for 27 years, and this last year I learned something new. That's why that is together. And so I think those moments really help, like Karen said, the kids that feel like they don't belong, they find that piece and they go, wait a minute, I can do math, just like you had felt. So as you know, our series is titled Everyone Belongs in Mathematics. So our leading question for all of our guests has been, what does it mean to belong in mathematics? So this time we'll start with Jennifer.
All right. So when I'm thinking about belonging in mathematics and specifically with our conference, it means we're finding our people from all over the country, or really from all over the world, that we get together and we have a common interest. We are trying to better ourselves in our roles as leaders in mathematics, whether we're leading from a classroom, a department, or a district. And that belonging is like really just knowing that there's other people going through some of the things are going through. There are people who've already pushed through and found ways to overcome barriers of these same issues. And we're all together in one space. We're all there to be together, to learn with one another and from one another. Especially when you're thinking about from all over the world, we have regional meetups scheduled at each conference where participants can meet with people from their geographic area, and just because even within different regions, there might be specific issues. There might be some legislation going on. There's some new initiatives going on particular to your area. And so those regional meetups give you a way to be with people who are experiencing those same particular geographic issues and learn from them.
All right. Thank you. How about you, Crystal?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like belonging, especially the conference, means having some meaningful ways to contribute, whether you're volunteering, facilitating a discussion, doing a session, any way that people can feel like they're part of the community rather than just attending, going to a conference or attending an event. The connections you make at these conferences with other math leaders across the country and even beyond, right, beyond the U.S., opens up powerful professional learning networks that really feel like a movement, like you're in this collective advocacy together, trying to lift up the voices of everybody in your community to help everyone feel like they belong. Educators, students, families, the broader community. You're just like, I feel like this collective work that we're all in this together.
All right. We're all in this together. Makes me think of High School Musical. It's like keep thinking of music. Now, you know what? Now I think every listener out there that knows High School Music or has kids that watch that, now they can't get the song out of their head. So
Yes, I am. It's already playing in my head.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Marty, what about you?
For me, belonging means knowing that your ideas matter and that you're valued as a math thinker. And you kind of mentioned it earlier about helping students getting those successes. And I think access is a big part of that. There's a lot of components to belonging, but I think access is a big component of that, and ensuring that our students get access despite any missed learning opportunities or anything like that. They have access to the math. And in that, they start to feel those successes that sometimes they haven't in the past with math. And that kind of affects their, sometimes they have the math anxiety because of that. And so they have that learned helplessness. So I think helping students access the math, it helps them feel like they belong in mathematics.
So I'm connecting a couple of things that were said. Jennifer, we were talking about like just the conference being a space of belonging because that's like where we find our people. And Marty, as you were talking, I was thinking, how powerful would it be if our students came to school feeling like they were joining their people when it was time to start math? Like, hey, these are my people, I'm with my people.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to create that environment so that they had that space of belonging. It also made me think about just my own experience with the conference. Going to the conference, I've found is very energizing for me. And not just the sessions, but the connections. And as we talk about like through volunteering and so forth, Joshua Thurby, who's a previous podcast guest, we met at the volunteer table, the check-in volunteer table for volunteers. Yeah. And I don't know, it's like we've always known each other now. And so it's amazing how just just volunteering your time to do the volunteer check-in or to be the one to support rooms or just going to the events in the evening time can all feed into that space of belonging. So with that, let's take some time to talk about some exciting program highlights that participants can expect to experience at this year's conference. And let's start with Crystal this time.
I was thinking you're going to go with me first. So Karen, actually what you just said leads right into what I was going to share about this, because there's so many ways for attendees and participants to get involved beyond volunteering. Because what your example was perfect, right? You interact with these folks that you see on webinars and who've written books and, all this stuff. You see them like in real life, in person, and it gets you so excited. And it happens through things like volunteering, but we also have opportunities like our leadership exchange, which is a great way to have a casual conversation with, one of our major speakers, and just ask those questions. You go to their session, you can ask them questions to interact and just kind of really get the inside behind the scenes look from their perspective. This year, I believe our leadership exchange will feature a few folks like Vanessa Vicaria, Dr. Mike Flynn, Brittany Hedge, and Dr. Chris Childs. Just so many great people that you might not get to interact with in a small group setting on a regular basis, and so that's going to be a really fun opportunity. And then also, I think Jennifer mentioned it earlier, the regional meetups are also just so powerful because you're with all the folks from your kind of local community-ish, and you meet people, you see people but you also see a bunch of people you don't know, and you find ways to interact and broaden your network locally as well. So it's going to be a really good time this year.
Yeah, I love those regional meetups.
Mm.
I got to, Sean Nank. I love Sean, and he was our guest when we were at last year at the NCSM conference, and he's in my region, and being able to connect with him has been really awesome, and being able to connect with people, especially like in my region, California, we've got our new framework, we've got all kinds of things coming out, new HQIM across the state. It's going to be great meetup. I know it, and I can't wait.
Jennifer, how about you?
So when I'm thinking about highlights, I'm also thinking outside of just the learning experiences, but the opportunities we've built in for fun. Because, your brain can only take so much input and you just need to let it out for a little bit. And so what better way to do that through food? So we have snack breaks built in where you can, even if you met someone at the first session, you're like, hey, let's meet up and talk at the snack break. It's just, we've built in those times to give you a time to kind of just decompress, really have time to think and have some fun snackies along the way. In addition to snack breaks, there are things like evening receptions. There is the very famous probability night going to be happening on Tuesday night, which is just all sorts of fun. And then also we're just in downtown Denver. And so right outside is the 16th Street Pedestrian Mall. So you can be, have something fun if you just need to get out of the hotel for a little bit and get some fresh air, see some lovely scenery, and then hop right back in to our conference.
It makes me want to be there already.
Can't wait.
Have you been in Denver in October?
No.
It's beautiful. I went there last October. It was actually about maybe 3 or 4 years ago in October. And October is known in Denver for having the first snowfall. Mm-hmm. So it was really crazy. We were there, and the day, the first day we were there, I swear it was 82 degrees was the high. And then it got really windy. And then in the morning there were 2 inches of snow.
Wow.
It was boom. And then I was like, hey, it's a good thing I checked my weather report because I had a jacket with me. So anybody that's coming to NCSM, just make sure you check the weather report for Denver before we go in October, because there might be some snow.
Oh my gosh, Abel, it makes me nervous. Our little local group's doing a walking tour and it's rain, snow, or shine.
Wow.
You know what? A walking tour in snow, awesome. In rain, you need an umbrella. It's probably not as fun, but in snow, I go on the walking tour in snow. That sounds like fun.
I might have to tag along with you, Crystal.
Yeah. Actually, like being outside in the snow too.
So fun.
It is. How about you, Marty?
Yeah, I'm super excited about this conference. Our conference committee has put together an amazing program where the theme for the conference is Elevate Bold Mathematics Leaders. And so we've aligned all of our program to that. And so we're kicking off with Dr. Anthony Muhammad as our keynote speaker. And he's just engaging, and he's going to bring the energy, and he's going to create the culture for the conference for that week. And then our closing speaker, keynote speaker, is going to be Brooke Gregory, who is from the Denver area. And she's going to have a powerful session that's going to be a full experience. It's going to engage the audience and just kind of tie the whole conference together. And so we're super excited about that. We have some amazing performances that we're going to keep a surprise. And so if you want to see those performances, you got to make it to the conference. And then all of our sessions are aligned to our conference strands. We have our conference strands are elevating access to and success in math, elevating instructional excellence and innovation, elevating courageous leadership and coaching, and elevating mathematical identity and agency. And with a wide range, we have a wide range of topics from AI to data science, mathematical identity. We got leadership sessions, coaching, assessment, early childhood, all the way up to post-secondary. So we have everything. No matter what your role is, you'll find learning experience designed specifically for you.
That's great. Are these performances during opening session and closing session, or one or the other?
Yes, we'll have some really cool performances on both.
I
Yeah,
do.
and it's gonna kind of like the first one's gonna really just kind of create that energy and culture, and then the last one's it's gonna be a really neat experience.
Ooh, I can't wait.
One of those performances is not going to be me doing the Cupid Shuffle. So I don't know what happened last year, but I got up off that we're going to say probability cards table, and I was doing the Cupid Shuffle, and then I get to the next conference, and they're like, "Hey, we heard you like the Cupid Shuffle."
Yeah,
Follows me across states. It's funny.
we'll have you do that in the back.
Yeah, there we go. I'm not. Yeah, it's not one of the performances, everybody. So we've heard there's some really great stuff. I'm super excited to be going. And I guess one thing maybe you can highlight, are there any specific sessions, events, or activities that will impact, like coming back to our idea of belonging? Are there any like special ones that maybe people want to focus on, or that will impact participants' sense of belonging? I know that Jennifer had mentioned about, belonging in terms of the conference, and to have everybody in this space being able to be feel like they belong, and participants in the NCSM in the conference itself, and maybe even support them in bringing belonging back to their organizations after they've been here for 2, 3, 4 days. We'll start with Jen. Wait, who hasn't started? Crystal hasn't started. We'll start with Crystal.
I was actually hoping you would start with me, because I feel like the first fun thing that people like to do is when you get your registration and you go stop in the membership table, you get your little name badge. What are they called? Ribbons, right? That you get, like, if you're a first time attendee, if you're presenting, or if you're from Delaware or Texas or Maryland. And sometimes they have other goofy ones too, but it just kind of like gives like talking points. You can see, like, oh, it's your first time. How's it going? You can kind of just casually connect with people as you're walking the halls and in sessions. And then something else we're kind of toying with is I know we talked about the leadership exchange, but also you all started, I think it was last year was the first time, the podcast, doing the podcast live. And so I think we're going to toy with doing the podcast live and the leadership exchange potentially live via Zoom, so that people who aren't there could potentially join so that people can feel like they're part of the conference, even if they're not physically there. So a lot of details to work out, but that's something we're going to try to see if we can accomplish this year. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that live podcast is going to be great. We're going to get people got to get their questions ready. We'll let people know in one of these next few months who our guests are going to be so that they can be there and have some questions ready. We'll take from the audience, and we're pretty excited. We might be doing a little bit traveling too. There's some special things coming up with this podcast on the conference. So we're pretty excited about that too. Martin, I call him Martin. Marty.
That's fine. Yeah, we have a lot of sessions that really focus directly on identity, agency, and equitable access in mathematics, which I talked about in that earlier question about belonging. And so we want participants to leave not only with really great strategies, but also with ideas for how they can foster belonging in their own schools and their districts and their various organizations that they're a part of.
Cool.
So I was thinking that to help participants kind of know maybe what sessions, like there are, if you look at the session strands, in particular, the elevating access to and success in mathematics and elevating mathematical identity and agency would kind of be a way to help people sort through all of the sessions if that is an area they're really wanting to dive in deep with this next conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those all sound really exciting. So with that, can you give one tip for participants or those who are still considering participating, because we hope all of our listeners will be there, that they can do to think about or even prepare for the conference? And Jennifer, you started talking about this. So we'll start with you.
Okay, perfect. So the advice I give anyone who's about to go to a conference is to really be strategic about the sessions you're going to. Most likely you're dealing with an issue that's going on in your organization or in your context, and you're going to probably be drawn to those sessions, and that makes sense. But I always advise to go to what I call a reach session. Like, what's a session that ooh, that might be interesting. That might help me. And to do that each and every day is a way to stretch past maybe what's comfortable and what you're expecting to get, but maybe you're going to get something even better or more, and that will help grow you as an even stronger math leader.
Oh my gosh, that is a wonderful piece of advice. I just want to share a little story that this last I'm going into consulting. I'm doing some consulting, and my background has always been in secondary. My coaching has been in secondary, mostly high school. My wife teaches elementary, and I subbed for a few days during COVID for third graders. And yeah, see, Karen, you could get a sense of how it was when I was in a third grade class all by myself for the first time. But the last conference I went to, I thought about that same idea. How can I stretch myself? So I chose sessions that were specifically around elementary, and how am I connecting that elementary experience with the secondary experience? And then also and I don't know if we have these sessions in NCSM, but if anybody stays for NCTM, if there's any sessions on connecting parents and the community with mathematics, that is something I think that's a hot topic right now. I went to a community and a parent engagement session, and I learned a ton of great information. And ironically, a district came to me and asked me, "Hey, do you think you can help us with connecting to our parents?" I got ideas now. So always do that. Stretch yourself. I think that's wonderful, wonderful advice for people going to a conference. All right, who's next? Martin?
Sure.
See, I said Martin again. That's my...
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go by Martin or Marty? We'll go with...
Martin's my dad, so.
Oh, okay. So is your dad there? He can come on the podcast right now.
I'll come over. No, yeah, it's similar to what Jennifer said, but just like looking at it in different perspectives. So first of all, take some time to review the program, not just the sessions, but all of the different events, things that we've mentioned, see what time they are, kind of plan out your schedule. But I like to identify the speakers that are going to be presenting. And I know that I always have my favorite speakers, but I also try to find speakers that I haven't heard from. it's always great to get different perspectives, different ideas. And so find somebody who you haven't heard from, and somebody that, has an interesting topic that you're interested in. I think that's important. And then my other tip is to always have a backup session. Sometimes the session gets full, or maybe the content doesn't apply, or whatever the reason. Always have that backup session. I think that's important.
I second that, Marty. Always have backup. I would also say if you're a first-time attendee, consider that Sunday session in the afternoon. That kind of helps you think about all the speakers, or kind of all the things that you all just talked about. How to navigate the conference, get to know people right from the start, and feel connected as soon as you get there. And if you're there with a group of people, maybe with others from your local organization, think about, are there sessions you want to attend together to see what you can bring back collectively, or are there sessions or times where you want to divide and conquer, and then deliberate afterwards and talk about the pros and cons of what you can use, what you can't use, things like that. And so if you're first time, just sort of talk to people, learn about the conference, figure out what to do, and just find great tips from other folks for how to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
You'll enjoy it.
One thing that I was thinking about that I'll add on to what you're saying is also for our participants to be open to learning in different ways, and that not all of our learning is going to come through the sessions.
Yeah.
I went to a session one time, and I ended up connecting with a person from Virginia, and there was a situation that I was in at the time, and he had heard about it. We didn't know each other. And then we had started talking about some other things. We ended up sitting on the floor in the back of the room, and had this amazing conversation about all these different things. Every time we see each other, we're like, hey, but like learning comes in different ways. And even one time when I went to one of the evening events, just sitting at the table and then sharing about like a work experience, and then the wisdom that I received from someone who had been in the same role for many years, and was able to like really pour into me based on like the things that I had shared. And those moments, like, I've absolutely treasured in my experience at the conference, which is what I think makes it so unique, and like really like a beautiful space when we all come together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's nice too, especially if you're going to the meal functions or the afternoon functions. I know you tend to want to go with your group and stick with your pack and your crew, but it's also nice to just go out and meet new people, make different connections. You see your people at home every day, right? So meet new people. The whole point, build your network.
Yeah, and
Build your network.
and to that point, don't be afraid to come by yourself. If you can, bring a team.
Yeah,
but what's keeping you back is that you can't bring a team. You know what? When you leave, you'll have a team. That's how I feel every time I go. I'm like,
agree.
Back with my peeps. It's right. It's just awesome being there. Even if you go on your own, make sure you do.
You know what's interesting? California was when they were in I can't remember
Anaheim.
Yes, thank you.
It was Anaheim. Yeah.
So when we were in Anaheim, that was my first time going by myself. Like, I didn't have a team with me or anything, but I was committed, and I was like, nope, I'm going. Had the best time, and I made so many connections. And then there were so many things that happened based on those connections that had I not went, I don't know what life would have been for me because a lot of those connections led to other things that contribute to like where I am now. So definitely, I appreciate you adding that tidbit in there, because I did it and it was the best decision I ever made. And yes, I know it's expensive. But that year, I also determined for myself that this investment is worth it. Like, I received so much out of it that I was like, whether my district can pay for me or not, like, this is an investment in myself that I'm willing to contribute to make. And so if people are able and they have that financial ability to be able to do that, and they feel that, it's that valuable. It's definitely worth the investment.
Mhm.
Yeah. Karen, I'm thankful that you went to LA that year, because that's where you heard about and met me, and then contacted me, and then we became friends and worked together. That's and now we're here. So I could not be more grateful that you made that decision as well.
Yes,
You know what?
can I
Go ahead. Yep, Jennifer,
I
go
was
ahead.
just making me think about travel expenses. We do have an Iris Carl Travel Grant Award available to NCSM members. So if the expense is one of the barriers, I would highly recommend looking at our website and looking at that information and filling out that application. It never hurts to try, and to help kind of soften that financial burden for this opportunity.
Mm.
Agree. Invest
to
in yourself. I like how Karen put that. Invest in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a clarification on that. Grant, that's for first time participants?
They are a member, and they've not been able to attend for the past 3 years.
All right. Yeah, that's good clarity. Well, Karen, I know you and I are both excited to be going to Denver in October. It's October, right? Yes, October, the end of October. And so many things that we heard about today, and so excited. Can Marty or Crystal or Jennifer, one of you, can you please, before we end our session today, can you let our listeners know where they can go to get more information about the conference and help spread the news to their colleagues about attending the NCSM conference in Denver?
Yeah, so I mean, all of our social media, Math Ed Leadership, we post. Our social media team is amazing, and they post all the time updates on speakers, on registration. Registration is already open, so you can register now. Just a reminder, the conference is October 26th, so Elevating Bold Mathematics Leadership. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. So check out any of those places. Of course, our website has the registration and information about the conference. Did I miss anything? Yeah, we hope we hope you all are able to make it. There's an experience for any role in mathematics leadership. So please come out and join us and connect, collaborate, and learn.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guests Marty and Jennifer and Crystal, for joining us on this month's episode of Learning with Leaders podcast. We hope everybody got a ton of information and are excited and ready. If you haven't, go register. We'll see you. Find Karen, find me in Denver. I'm sure you'll find Marty, Jennifer, Crystal somewhere. They're going to be way busy, but find us in Denver. Come by, say hi. We can't wait to see you there. So thank you again for joining us, and we hope you join us again next month when we have great guests. Bye.
We hope that you have been inspired by this bold mathematics leadership conversation, and will tune in to our podcast series each month. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. You can learn more about NCSM leadership and mathematics education and our upcoming professional learning events on the NCSM website, mathedleadership.com. You can also follow NCSM on the X at mathedleaders and using the hashtag NCSMBold. Until next time.